Welcome to County Magazine, your chance to find out what's new across Fairfax County. I'm Bryan Ashby. On this edition, we'll learn about the county's emergency operations plan with the Department of Emergency Management and Security. We'll take a close look at the county's mental health docket, and we'll check out a local green business making a difference. Plus, a scenic way to garden from the Fairfax County Park Authority. Fairfax County's Diversion First program identifies people in the criminal justice system who have severe mental health illnesses, then diverts them from incarceration and into treatment. As part of Diversion First, 3 specialty dockets were created to give specific help to certain offenders, including the Mental Health Docket. Here's more.
Far too many people with mental illness are incarcerated, often repeatedly, without receiving needed treatment and support to stop the cycle of recidivism. Here in Fairfax County, a different multi-agency approach is changing that cycle.
So Diversion First is a multi-agency initiative between a lot of community organizations in Fairfax County with the collaborative goal of identifying individuals who have come into contact with the criminal justice system, who have severe mental illnesses, co-occurring disorders, substance use disorders, developmental disabilities, and diverting them away from the criminal justice system and into treatment.
Part of the Diversion First initiative included creating specialty dockets, and there are 3 dockets here in Fairfax County. There is the substance abuse docket, there is the mental health docket, and the veterans treatment docket. The purpose of the specialty dockets is a recognition that a lot of these individuals are entering the criminal justice system based on underlying issues of substance abuse, mental health, and in regards to the veterans that those things have occurred due to the service to our country. And the specialty dockets means that the criminal charges come onto that docket and the individual is treated for those underlying or helped or supported in regards to substance abuse and mental health, and then their charges are resolved there as opposed to the regular system.
Each docket is vital to the program, but for now, let's explore the mental health docket. Launched in July 2019, the Fairfax County Mental Health Docket serves participants who are struggling with mental illness and are currently involved in the criminal justice system.
There's 4 stages for somebody who comes onto that docket. The first part of that docket is stabilization, getting individuals on medication, getting them to some type of housing, since a lot of people come to that docket who are homeless. The second stage is working hard on changing. They came in with behavior that brought them to the criminal justice system, and now it's working on stabilization and now what do you wish to do with your day, now that you're taking medications, now that you have a place to stay. And then they work towards graduation in the 3rd and 4th phases. So it has those different phases as people change and as they work through those changes.
The mental health docket includes a multidisciplinary team of professionals who work collaboratively to hold participants accountable, help them gain access to the tools they need to better manage their mental health, and avoid future criminal justice involvement.
I am the presiding judge of the Fairfax General District Court Mental Health Docket. My role is to lead all of the cross-agencies teams in the pre-court meetings while we talk about each of the participants and whether they would have sanctions or incentives if they're moving up from phases to phases. In court, my role is to talk to each of the individuals on the docket to see how they're doing and get their input in regards to how they see themselves doing on the docket and what they need in the future.
I'm the docket coordinator. The docket coordinator manages and receives all incoming referrals, helps those incoming referrals get connected to treatment and services, and then continues to coordinate with all active participants throughout their time in the program.
I am the treatment coordinator for the mental health docket. My role is to connect each of our participants with the best level of care that's going to fit their unique treatment needs. I collaborate a lot with the direct treatment providers in order to figure out what's working, what's not working, and how we can offer additional support so each of our participants are successful when they're in the docket and beyond.
The Commonwealth's Attorney's Office is a frontline participant on the docket. We determine who's a good candidate for the docket by considering their charges, consulting with victims, and contemplating the positive impacts that might come from treatment by participating in the docket.
I'm with the Public Defender's Office. Our role is to represent the interests of every participant on the docket. We protect their rights and advocate on their behalf. We attend all court hearings and help them with any issues they might be having.
Pro Services supervises all docket participants, which entails coaching, encouragement, mentoring, and support using evidence-based practices, face-to-face and electronic contacts, record checks, and urinalysis. We recommend incentives, sanctions, and phasing to the treatment team on all docket participants, and we refer individuals to the docket coordinator for future consideration and other prospects.
So some of the eligibility requirements are you have to have a severe mental illness as defined by DSM-5. You have to be a resident of Fairfax County. You have to have charges in Fairfax County. You have to be willing to follow the treatment recommendations. The program's intense. It's a very intensive program. There are a lot of requirements, and we're really asking the participants to make significant changes in their lives, and they have to be willing to do that and be willing to take that step. So referrals can come from anyone who's either directly or peripherally involved in an individual's case. So we receive referrals from defense attorneys, from prosecutors, from family members, from treatment providers, law enforcement, all avenues of kind of the participant's world where someone somewhere along the way has said, hey, I think this person could benefit from some treatment. And they send me the referral, and then from there we work on connecting them to treatment, figuring out what their treatment needs are, and help getting them started so that they can participate in the program.
The skills and resources gained through this program are designed to provide the necessary tools for recovery, resilience, and a sense of community long after graduation. Contact our team for more information on the Mental Health Docket.
September is National Preparedness Month. Inspired by the events of September 11th, 2001, it's a time to reflect on preparedness and plan for disaster. Joining me to discuss how the county prepares for disasters is Department of Emergency Management and Security Lead Planner, Matthew Marquis. Matthew, welcome to County Magazine.
Thanks for having me, Brian. Really appreciate it.
So why don't we start by telling us what the Department of Emergency Management and Security does for the county?
Okay, absolutely. So we at the Department of Emergency Management and Security, also go by DEMS, we do a lot of stuff to help coordinate the county's emergency response, from mitigation, so looking at some of the bigger natural hazards that we might have, thunderstorms, floods, winter storms, that kind of stuff. We try to build projects for all of our county agencies so that we can mitigate those hazards beforehand. We plan for our hazards and prep for them. So we have things like the Emergency Operations Plan, the Pre-Disaster Recovery Plan, Hazard Mitigation Plan, and Community Emergency Response Guide that will help the public be better prepared for those hazards that could come. And then we also do a lot of communication and coordination in the event of a disaster. So we help respond and recover from those things, whatever it might be.
Yeah, it's a big list.
It certainly is.
So you mentioned a few, but specifically what types of disasters does the department plan for?
So I'll give you a kind of rundown of our top 3 hazards for Fairfax County. High wind is number 1. So people remember the derecho from 2012, right? Huge thunderstorm, just a thunderstorm, but brought close to 100-mile-an-hour winds, straight line winds. Flooding, probably the biggest hazard that the United States faces, and it's one of the hazards that is constant, and it doesn't matter what season it is. You can get flooding from rainfall, you can get flooding from snow melt, you can get flooding from a lot of different things, right? And then winter storms. We all live through them. We haven't had a white Christmas in a very long time, but those storms bring a lot of snow. It's a lot of debris removal, power outages, so on and so forth. So you can see from those 3 natural hazards right there that there are long-standing impacts and culminating effects that kind of come from those 3 different main hazards right there.
So I'm curious, how does the department go about making a plan? What does a plan entail?
Okay, so the big thing about any plan is that you have the partners in the room, right? We have stakeholders that are internal to the county and external stakeholders that have the county's best interests. We all know what Fairfax County brings as far as some of the industries, so our public-private partnerships are vital, especially when it comes to recovery. Our houses of worship bring a lot to the table. Our volunteer organizations bring a lot to the table. So when we're developing plans, it's important to know what we're talking about, and then kind of develop a list of who we think would have play in these things. A big saying in emergency management, right? It's you don't want to be giving your business card to someone after a disaster happens. And that's kind of how our planning process goes. We meet our partners, we understand what they can bring to the table, we establish lines of communications and look at some of their capabilities and figure out what's feasible, what isn't, and how we go from there.
Fairfax is a pretty diverse county in terms of nationalities, diversity in general. How does that play into your planning?
It is a huge element, and sometimes can be looked at as very daunting. We have 150 plus languages spoken in the county, so trying to figure out all those languages and providing services to them, it's huge. It's just something that we build into our planning assumptions for a lot of different things. We try to understand what our demographics look like just so that we can be better prepared to provide services to the whole county, and understanding that there are going to be people who need more services than others.
No, that's fantastic. That's quite a continuum that you have to account for.
Yes.
and deal with. So what can we do? What can the average Joe, Jane County resident do?
Absolutely. So we're talking about National Preparedness Month, so I'm glad you're bringing this up. So there are a few different things that the general public can do. Making a kit, all right? So an emergency kit. Some people call them emergency supply kits. Some people call them go bags, but an emergency kit. So think about a situation where you might be told to hunker down in your house for up to 72 hours, right? So 3 days. Do you have non-perishable foods? Do you have water? Do you have the basic human needs, right? Have that and put it away somewhere and make sure that you're constantly updating it and changing it with the seasons. Make a kit. Make a plan, whether it's, where are we going to go in the event like a fire starts in our house? Are we going to meet by the big tree outside? Or if we need to leave the area, do we have family outside the area that will rendezvous if we get split up? Something as easy as that, right? So we want people to sign up for Fairfax Alerts and be able to get information when it's provided to us to give you, how can I prepare? What do I need to look at? What are the hazards that are coming, and how can I best prep myself for those upcoming hazards? The final thing that the public can do to be better prepared is to get involved. And we have a few different things in Fairfax County that people can join to be more integrated into emergency response initiatives. September is huge to go back outside. School has started. School preparedness becomes a huge thing, and just general emergency preparedness. So you'll see our volunteers out at a lot of different community events over the next couple of months to basically talk about what we do and how you can be better at being prepared for emergencies.
Great. Well, we'll know who to look for. Matthew
Absolutely.
Marquis and your team. We appreciate your being here, and we appreciate all you do for the community.
Absolutely. Thanks, Brian. I really appreciate you having me.
Civil disorder, large groups of people mobilized by political protest, ideological conflict, or social grievance. Civil disorder can be a dangerous condition that can become increasingly chaotic and volatile, but you can weather the storm with these tips. If civil disorder erupts in your community, stay away from the area and shelter in place. Shelter in place means taking refuge in an interior room with no or few windows. While you shelter in place, stay up to the moment with Fairfax alerts and local media reports. Map out emergency exit routes in case your area is evacuated. When public safety services arrive, comply with all law enforcement directives and remain alert to any curfews in your area. A curfew is an order from public safety requiring residents to remain indoors between specified hours, typically at night.
Residents to remain indoors. Again, a curfew is in effect from 7
After the
p.m.
civil disorder, check the area to make sure it's safe, and check personal property for damage. No one knows if or when civil disorder will erupt, but if it does, you can be prepared. Download the Community Emergency Response Guide from your Department of Emergency Management and Security and be prepared for all hazards in Fairfax County.
In an ever-growing community like Fairfax County, there's an increased need to consider our impact on the environment and think green. This local chocolatier, a green business partner with the county, knows that solving global climate change starts locally, in the community. Check it out.
Green Business Partners program is a program to recognize the actions that businesses are taking to help the county meet its climate reduction goals, as well as other environmental policies and programs. Riversea Chocolates have integrated sustainability into really all of their business practices, from sourcing their cacao to transport it, the way they package their material. They are truly committed to sustainability, and they're a company that recognizes that addressing the global problem of climate change really starts in the community, and their community is Fairfax County.
Well, Riversea applied for Green Business Partners in Fairfax County because this is what we do when in terms of making chocolate. I say we are green before making chocolate, and now making chocolate and then becoming green. The green business and the education aspect go hand in hand, and this is one of the things that we introduce as a chocolate maker that not many chocolate makers do, which is offering the concept and the traceability aspect of our cocoa beans and how we bring them here, which is using the power of the wind. In an effort to decarbonize the supply chain, we do not engage in long-haul fossil fuel shipping, and with that, it has been great because it helped line up more businesses, community that are aligned with that, and see in our chocolate a way to support their own personal views on how to, help the environment and how to help, the world at large. Starting from Fairfax County, the whole concept of thinking globally and acting locally, and the response has been great. I come from originally from the rainforest in Brazil. And I saw firsthand what pollution combined with deforestation and just unsustainable practices in order to reap economic benefit can cause. So this is our own personal journey on this, but I believe it's within reach of any business. And I think if you have the realization that our planet is not in a good course for kids and grandkids into the whole climate change aspect, you will see the support, first of all, from Fairfax County for your efforts, and once the community sees that you're being recognized by public administration, it's a multiplying factor for you, and we can make the county and our region a lot more sustainable just from applying and then pursuing the practices and sharing that with the community, with your employees, with everybody else. Our goal is to make as much impact as possible with the resources we have, and of course always be ready to serve our community through chocolate and through a greener community.
Speaking of sustainability, gardening is a great way to keep your grocery costs down. It's a relaxing way to kill time on a sunny day and a rewarding way to do your part for the environment. But not all residents have the outdoor space for a garden. Well, the Park Authority just made starting your own vegetable patch a little bit easier and a lot more scenic. Take a look.
So we're here on a beautiful summer day and we're opening Laurel Hill Garden Plots. There are 19 plots behind me that we're opening, and that brings us to a total of 721 garden plots for the Fairfax County Park Authority. So this is a very special new community garden plots. These are really designed for accessibility. If you see behind me, there are wider aisles, the flat surface. It allows people with mobility issues to be able to garden and really enjoy this pastime. So the raised garden beds also help with people with accessibility issues. You can garden if you're in a wheelchair, you can garden if you have to sit down, and you can garden if you can't get on the ground and really, kneel. Those raised garden plots really open up this pastime to, all of our residents to be able to enjoy. So really, community gardens allow people who don't have the ability in their own home to really enjoy fresh vegetables grown from seed. This garden plot allows people who live in apartments or townhouses to really be able to enjoy garden and bring fresh vegetables home to their families.
The community garden plot's very important because it's a way of engaging families who may not have the ability in their own residence or their own area to grow wonderful food. Additionally, it's crucial to some of our low-income families. Lorton Community Action Center that has garden plots here, and they take those fresh vegetables and they in turn provide those as part of their market offerings on a daily basis.
So we're very excited to be over 700 garden plots in Fairfax County Park Authority. People have been waiting for this for a very, very long time, and we're very excited to see this garden grow. So for more information about our garden plots, this one and all of the rest of them in Fairfax County Park Authority, as well as links to get to the Master Gardeners Program, you can visit our website and it'll give you all the information that you need.
Well, that's going to do it for this edition of County Magazine. Thanks for joining me. Don't forget, September is National Preparedness Month, a time to get ready and get informed. For up-to-the-minute information, check out the county's emergency information blog and sign up for Fairfax Alerts. Remember, there are countless ways to get involved in your community and make Fairfax County an even better place to live, work, play, and prepare. I'm Bryan Ashby, and we'll see you next time on County Magazine.